Hi everyone, it's Chrissy from First Day of Home. Today we're going to be making air dry clay ornaments. I wanted these ornaments to have some natural elements, so I picked a few items that were in season like roses, cedar branches, a poinsettia leaf, and some pansies. I'm going to be pressing these flowers in my microwave flower press. I won't go through all of the details of how to press flowers, but I do have a blog post that has all of the information for you, and I'll put it in the description box below. For now, I'm just setting these flowers here, and I'll show you later on in the video what the flowers look like after they're pressed. For this tutorial, I'm using DOS air dry clay, which comes in two different colors, white or terracotta. I'm using the white clay here, and this clay is very easy to work with. It's wonderful for kids, it's non-toxic. You simply mold it into whatever shape you like and add a little moisture if you need to. I like to use a glass bottle as a rolling pin. It just helps keep the surface nice and smooth. Then I'll take my cookie cutter, you can use any shape you like, and I'm going to go ahead and cut out the clay in the shape of my ornament. Next, we'll press the cedar branch or whatever object you've chosen to imprint and roll over it with your bottle or rolling pin just to imprint that texture onto your ornament. Don't forget to make a hole with a straw or a dowel so that you'll be able to hang your ornament later. The final step is just smoothing out any rough edges around the ornament by dipping your fingertips in water and running your fingers around the edge of the ornament. Now we're going to set it aside to let it dry and move on to our next ornament. For this next ornament, we're going to follow roughly the same technique, but this time I'm going to imprint my poinsettia leaf with my bottle before I cut out my ornament shape. I love how this ornament captures all of the veins of the leaf and all of those little details. It's really one of my favorite ornaments. After making ornaments both ways, I have to say that I prefer imprinting the clay before I use my cookie cutter, so I really highly suggest that you do that too. And then of course you're going to follow the same process of using a straw or a dowel to make a hole in the top of the ornament, and I'll show you later a few different ideas of how to hang these. By the way, I'm using a clear acrylic cutting board so that my ornaments will peel off really easily. For the last ornament, we're going to follow the same process of smoothing out our clay, and as I've mentioned, you may want to dip your fingers in water and add some moisture to the clay if it starts to dry out as you work with it. It's just a great way to keep that clay nice and smooth. For this ornament, I'm again using that cedar stem that I think adds such a pretty texture, but instead of using a round shape, we're going to use an angel cookie cutter, and I'll show you just how cute this other ornament comes out because we're going to do something a little bit different when we get to hanging it. I'm going to follow the same process for cutting out my ornament, but when it comes to making holes to hang your ornament, you'll want to use something smaller like a small wooden dowel, in this case, which is what I'm using, or a toothpick, just something that won't be so large that the ornament might break when you go to hang it. Now it's time to wait for your ornaments to dry, which takes anywhere from 1 to 2 days. I do like to flip them over from time to time just to try to speed up the process a little bit. While we wait for our ornaments to dry, we can go ahead and get started painting our wooden beads. I'm using a white matte chalk paint here, and I'm lightly brushing these beads. I don't want them completely covered in paint. I just want kind of a rustic farmhouse feel. And then just to add a touch of sparkle, I added a few dabs of this gold paint that I will also link below. Once your ornaments are completely dry, you can then begin to paint them. I used a variety of different acrylic paints. Here I'm using that same white chalk paint to decorate my angel and get it ready to hang. For this particular ornament, I'm using jewelry wire, which I just inserted into one of the holes and then twisted around using some simple tools. Once the wire is in, you can begin adding some wooden beads. This is going to be our method of hanging the ornament. It also makes it look super cute. I ended up adding 7 beads in total and then just secured the other end of the wire with the same tools. Depending on the size of your beads, you may need to add more or less, but the main thing is that you allow enough room to hang your ornament and the beads are spaced out pretty evenly. I'll go ahead and link to some similar beads in the description box below. Let me know in the comments below if you like this ornament and if you plan to make one yourself. For the other ornaments, I just used other acrylic paints that I had on hand. I really love this blue metallic paint that I'll put in the description box below. I did one ornament with a heavy coat of the paint, and then this other one I did a very light brush that gave it an interesting texture. To hang our ornaments, you can use jute twine or any other ribbon that you like. I like the rustic look of the jute, especially with these imprints from nature. I just think they complement each other really well. So I'm simply tying a knot here at the top, and I'll show you in a moment how you can incorporate some of those same wooden beads on the other ornaments. Here I chose a nice light peach color that kind of has a coastal vibe, and after brushing on a coat of paint and letting it dry about 30 minutes to an hour, I attached the jute twine and some wooden beads just to give it an extra little embellishment. If you do attach wooden beads, make sure you tie a knot to keep them in place before you tie the top knot on the ornament. And once we tie our top knot, we are ready to go and our ornament is done. Now let's not forget, we had some flowers that we were going to press, so I got those out of the microwave and then took some of the plain ornaments and attached some Mod Podge on the back and then placed my pressed flower. This is just a pansy that I had, and I think it looks so beautiful here. It actually fit perfectly, which was just a stroke of luck. So I am just smoothing out the flower after I applied that Mod Podge, and I'm being really careful to smooth it out from the center before applying another top coat of Mod Podge just to seal it in place. Now, if you've worked with Mod Podge before, you know it goes on very thick and it looks like it's going to be white, but after you wait about 20 to 30 minutes, you'll see it's perfectly sealed and it looks beautiful on the back of this ornament. I went ahead and did the same thing with some of my rose petals in sort of a star pattern and then sealed it with the Mod Podge just like I did the other one, and I think it turned out really beautifully. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed learning how to make these clay ornaments, and if you did like this video, I always appreciate you giving it a thumbs up. I hope you'll stick around and consider subscribing to my channel by hitting the button below and ringing the bell for all notifications. You can always catch more on Instagram at First Day of Home, and I'll see you next time.